You're listening to Key Decisions Podcast, brought to you by REA Southern, bringing you home. Find out more at reasouthern.ie.
Hi there, I'm Keith.
And I'm Ollie. You probably know us from flying around social media or from REA Southern. So we've decided to jump into the podcast world because, to be honest, property talk, as you know, can be a bit of a head melter. So there's lots of stuff to wrap your head around. If day-to-day buying, selling. So we're here to make it simple, break it down, make it clear. So even if you haven't a clue about property, you might know something after listening to this.
In each episode, we'll be chatting about something different, answering the questions you actually wanted answered in a way you actually want them answered, not using terminology, sorry, Ollie, and only understandable by somebody in the industry.
Sorry, Keith.
Yeah, well, we're off to a flyer. So we're probably going to have a bit of a crack along the way. Let's get stuck into it.
Okay, so we're going to start each episode. We're going to have a key question. Over time, we're going to ask our followers to send in a question, something that's pressing on them and something that they'd like to know but are often afraid to ask. So something that has made us stop and go, hold on now. People don't actually know this. So this is our cue to break it down and explain it properly. If you've got a key question yourself, we'd love to hear it. So if you just go to our socials and pop in a question to us, we'd be delighted to include it in one of our episodes. But for now, the key question that we actually had from somebody that we work closely with on a regular basis was, where is the Irish property market heading?
Get the old crystal ball out. So this is something that I get pressed about when we are out on an appointment and people are they're concerned, has it peaked? Is it going to go further up if we buy now in 5 years? And the one thing we always say is that the property price only matters when you're buying or when you're selling. So depending on your situation, it'll always change. The SEO figures are saying that we're going nationally. I think it's up 7% year on year. And obviously, Dublin market a little bit smaller at 5%. And we can see it ourselves going back and forth. The 3 beds that we look at and things like that are now, this time last year, would have had a really good price at 325. They're now in 335, nearly 340, and in some cases have even broken that. Second-hand properties. So I think it's gradually, personally speaking, it's still got to gradually rise. There is no economic recession that I see coming in, which and the employment figures are still quite strong, quite good. So if the demand is there and the supply isn't.
Well, that's it. So and I suppose we'll all agree that the current demand is kind of being driven by the broken rental market. So you have would-be renters that are now being forced onto the lower end of the property ladder. So they're being forced to buy. And, they're in a position to buy on that lower end. Yeah. And then, but because of the demand on that's been driven up then by bidders and getting into bidding wars. So what we're seeing then is, I suppose, you've got inflated figures, sometimes in excess of what that property may or may not be perceived to be worth. And then the follow-on and knock-on effect of that is, because a lot of us, we'd often rely on the property price register for comparables. So, you go to a property in
I feel like I'm making awful lot of eye contact with you here. Sorry.
You're better off. But sure, I'm lovely. But if you're looking at the property price register and a price in that area is coming in as, the last property that was sold in that area is whatever, and you're working off that figure. And it's kind of, it is...
and there is multitudes of differences, and I know we're going to be talking about that later on, but just because a house, you do have to do a bit of homework on it, and you can't just take that figure as that is the minimum figure I'm going to get for my property. It's there's a range of reasons why your house has got to be worth a little bit more or a little bit less than what that figure has up there, and
it's not down to the curtains.
No.
You might have impeccable taste, but it's not going to add 30 grand onto your property.
Well, I remember we had a house, I think it was 15 years ago, and I have never seen the amount of pink that was around that property.
It was not my house.
No, it was. There was a lot of pink, but it's No, not down at that. It's like the BR, obviously the turnkey condition, what suits somebody mightn't suit others. And I know there's a lot of nearly generic colour schemes out there as well. For years when I saw Magnolia, I was like, nope. So, but...
Great sales on Magnolia paint at the moment, actually, just for anyone who's thinking of selling.
There we go. So, I suppose, well, you give me your breakdown then. Where are we heading? Give me the crystal ball. In 12 months' time, this time next year, what's your assumptions? And I'll do what my assumption is. And whoever is closest to being right owes the other one a night out.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, clearly I'm a cheaper date than you are, but anyway. So to look into the crystal ball then for where the property market is actually heading, depending on how the key deliverables, I suppose, they are getting a little bit closer to delivering on the properties that they said that they were. And I suppose, look, to give their dues, they were handed a broken chalice, and there was an awful lot of kind of inflated figures there that weren't actually possible. So they're delivering a bit closer to what they've said that they're going to deliver. But again, with the price of materials and labour and whatever it is, it's an uphill struggle. But I see, like, as the new properties come in and you've got the incentives there for first-time buyers, so you're going to see less of a demand on that 3 and the lower end of the 4-bedroomed houses from first-time buyers, which should then in turn free up what we're seeing with the larger homes, people looking to downsize. They're in a position where they can't do that unless they find a house, which in that category as well. So everyone is after that same chunk of the market.
Exactly.
And that is a huge problem. But like, hopefully, if those figures are kind of brought down, if there's more of a supply, I do think there will be a slight ease on that end of it. So hopefully things will level out. But
we were talking to one of the builders just on that point about downsizers, and just we had suggested maybe a few more bungalows. And I know the square footage and everything and the footprint would be a little bit bigger, but it will free up a lot more of those bigger properties, and then people will be able to upsize, and it'll have a positive effect on it. So that would be good. Thing I'd love to see, and I know we've constantly hawked on about it, is the seller's legal pack, getting that pushed through, and that is something that the government definitely can work hard. We're only through stage 3 of...
it's only been 5 years.
I know, but still...
It's 3 stages in 5 years. That's impressive.
It is very impressive. And for people who don't know what that is, it's basically just got to front load the legal process, and like we get a slap on the wrist if we don't have a BER, or we get fined if we don't have a BER for property, but the property might have a terrible title that is just unsellable, and yet that's okay. So I think if they can get that up and going as well, and helps that, it cuts down conveyancing and all, I think that will definitely help the property market. So, but in a year's time, I can see us going up. I do think probably another 5 to 10% from a property price point of view, especially 3-bed semis, second-hand 3-bed semis in good areas and all that, hitting that 350 mark to possibly even 355. Because the new builds, I know they're coming in higher, but they don't have any of the white goods, any of the carpet, the tiles, the curtains.
The curtains,
the pink curtains.
And then also what we've been discussing lately as well is the kind of the newer concept of the multi-generational living. So, I suppose that's a really interesting concept to see what way that goes, or how it's kind of picked up in the next year, where you have parents who their kids are looking to, fly the nest, and then kids that are looking to... not kids, but, grown-up kids, looking to get on the property ladder. But it's impossible because they're either living at home or renting and can't afford to save for a mortgage or can't afford to save for a deposit. And unless they're on 2 particularly good salaries, they're not going to be able to buy anything kind of huge. No. So you're looking at where both might join forces and buy a bigger property that is suitable for kind of subdividing and housing both parties. So it gives the parents peace of mind, and then, the
absolutely.
So that's a very real thing, I suppose, that we're looking at next year.
It helps out from, morbid time here, but when they do eventually pass away, that it's absorbed into their child's property, that the price value and will increase. So it is, and you have them looking after kids because childcare costs are through the roof and everything, and then keeping that sort of family connect while also having your own space. And
In
perfect example,
probably a better area as well for your kids growing up. Like, it's probably more likely that you're going to get a property that fits that criteria a little bit outside of town. So,
Well, my friend, Sinead and Stephen, and her parents came in, did the same thing, invested in the house. The house is phenomenal now, and it's a larger house. Both parties very, very happy with it, the whole setup, and it's definitely something that I think, and you're right, it'll take off in the next year or so, just to really get onto the property ladder. So
sure, you move on to our next segment, which is always going to be a fun topic. So this one is If Walls Could Talk. So this one's going to take us on to, I suppose, strange or slightly left of centre stories that we come across in our industry. Keith, do you want to take the lead? Do you want me?
I'm going to let you. For any of the listeners out there that do know me, I was on a stag in Madrid a couple of days ago. I have had very, very little sleep. I don't normally sound this sexy, but it's...
He doesn't.
I feel like Phoebe Buffet at the moment. I just need to get a guitar and get down to the Lamberts and play a few tunes, make some money. Side hustle, but I've got to leave this back in your more than capable hands, please. Other next week.
So, for anyone this resonates with, it's not aimed at you, I promise. But no, this week's story, we're going to talk about a guy who we went out to meet him to do an appraisal on his property, which I'll mention was in a kind of a predominantly student area.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say. So we went out. A lovely house. It was a really nice house now, in fairness. He had done a good bit of work on it, and there was one of the rooms had been converted, or the garage had been converted and whatever. But this guy had a not so realistic expectation of what his property was worth.
But he had an extra 20 square metres, or was it 10 square metres of garden space to the side of the house?
Space,
yeah, that's it.
So we went down anyway, we were chatting to him, and he really, he was adamant he wanted this amount for his house, and we were saying, well, it's probably not likely that you're going to achieve this. Like this house down the road sold for X amount, and judging by the property price register, the value in the area was, and we were saying a lot of them are rental properties. He interrupted it to say
they weren't. No, there was only 2 rental properties, which I was able to go back and say, well, I know 3 people in here that currently have rented properties that, to the best of my knowledge, they haven't sold, and that didn't include, I believe, was his brother that was also renting out. But so. That is, and look, I don't mind rents. A rent return on a property will obviously dictate kind of what you can or can't sell it at. But the way his house, and he had his house in very, very good order and all that, lovely. But it's not. It wasn't set for a student market. It wasn't set for a rental market. It wasn't going to get. If you rented it out, the house, you're only going to get a bit for what he was hoping to achieve price wise. You're only going to get a yield of 5%, and you need anywhere between 6.5 to 8 to make it sort of viable. But it was an interesting one, and no matter how many times we pointed out 2 or 3 things, it reverted back to, well, there is very few rental properties here now. Even though if we opened it up to everyone and asked them, what would you consider this area?
I know.
I think exactly. I think everyone would hit the point.
I also note that he didn't invite us down A, very early in the morning, or B, late in the evening. It was around lunchtime, if I remember correctly. But he definitely. But you often get that. You do there is. It's not plucking figures out of nowhere. People quite often do have an inflated kind of perception of what their property might be worth. Yes. But there's a reason that you do spend a number of years studying this. I mean, it's more than just going and learning the auctioneer. I mean, I still can't go out and do valuations. I have to wait for another year before I can. Rightly so. Yeah, well, I mean, you've been doing it for years, and let's see how you fare out later on in this.
I believe there's a video of me dressed as a clown gone around.
There's one of those knocking around, but that's not the worst one.
But it is, nearly to wrap up on it, is You do multiple reasons, which we've hit on one or two of them. Now, your BUR is important, and it's not just from what sort of energy savings a person's got to have when you're valuing the property. Like a C1 and a B3 house are the exact same, nearly the exact same, from a heat retention and all that. So you're not going to save money on the bills buying it, but what you can get is the green mortgage. And that will, over the lifetime, of the B3 lifetime of the mortgage, save upwards to 25,000. So that's where you can edge a little bit higher up on your pricing of a property. Not a huge amount more, but it still should probably add about 10 to 15,000 to the house.
Quite nicer curtains.
And nicer curtains, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will get, Ollie will put out
not a bit of magnolia in the place.
So, but there is. And again, turnkey things like that lady I was saying about with the pink house, like she was oblivious to how that might affect where another property we sold over in the paddocks. And we went in, and again, there was a little bit of a clean-up job and things to be done, not a huge amount, but two of the rooms, one was sort of Hulk green, it was a kid's room, and then the other one was like, a real sort of dark pink. So she painted up those rooms to bring them back to neutral, and that will add that little bit of value to it as well.
I know that could be passed on to my sister. Not everyone loves pink, but anyway. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is our little tips. So each week each episode, we're going to go through, give some tips before you buy, before you sell. So I am going to give some advice for people who are looking to purchase and things that you need to get in order, and then we'll pass it across to Keith to talk a little bit about before you sell. So I suppose things you need to, when you're looking to buy a house, you're buying an area. Because you can do up a house, you can modernise a house, you can't do an awful lot with the area. So you kind of need to look at your own situation and what your requirements are. Are you looking at schools? Are you looking at kind of commuting? Are you looking at services and your own situation? Do you drive? Do you need public transport? So you need to kind of tie that in. I mean, we often see people they look at different types of properties in very different types of areas. And there are people who are obviously not really planning. They're just, because that sense of urgency is there. I suppose
you've got to say a little bit of the fear factor.
So there is, I mean, because people are getting burned and they're getting into kind of bidding wars because there is such a lack of supply, quite often people are kind of being led down a path of going, oh my God, am I ever going to find that property? And actually I had a girl a few weeks ago who really loved the property that they were looking at. They had been up to see this property and everything, and her partner absolutely loved it. But her concern was, what if the next property is the one? So they were afraid to put in a bid on this one in case the next property that they viewed was the one, and were they going to miss out on?
Grass is always green.
100%.
Yeah. Like, look, if it's, you really need to be practical, and that's what I love. I mean, we rarely change a person's mind about the property from a sales point of view. The house will always nearly sell itself.
Yeah.
So if it is done up to spec, that's what's going to draw them in. So where, like, what we can change if we are dealing with the likes of an investor, we show them the hard facts, like this is what it'll make, this is the percentage, this is your gross yields, this is if there's management fees, whatnot, and that's what they'll make a decision on. So I'd agree, like, I think some people, from a buying point of view, you do need to have that little bit of a checklist. And yes, obviously you need to be emotionally attached to it as well, but if you are trying to live that dream, I think you can struggle.
You could, we've had it a few times where people have come in and they've actually had a list. And they'll ask us to try find a property. That's the dream. Like, when someone comes in like that and you're going, oh my God, yes, we will absolutely try and help you find that property.
Oh, 100%.
Because it makes it so much easier, because like sometimes you nearly feel, you nearly feel like you're cajoling somebody into something. You're going like, say you have 4 kids and you want to live 25 miles away from your nearest school.
I wonder if that man ever does sell his property. Will he come into looking for a 5-bed detached property on 450 acres for anything under $250,000?
Yeah, absolutely.
Turnkey. Yeah.
No pink. But no, I do feel that's that is something that you need to kind of factor in, like what your own requirements are, and not to not to feel that panic, because that panic is also driving into the panic that's out there at the moment, and you're contributing to that and driving it up. So just before you start actually viewing houses, I mean, obviously view them, but before you start actually going out and viewing houses, make sure that you know what criteria needs to be met for you. Outside of that, you need to speak to, we advise to go to a mortgage broker as opposed to your bank, because they will, like we tend to do, handhold and guide you through the process. So they'll actually, like, they're there to help you. Their end game is the same as your end game and our end game. So we want to see you in your perfect property, and they will help you through, like, help you through your mortgage process. They'll help you through your getting your house insurance, all of this, and anything else along the way. And then also do a bit of research on your solicitor and try and get somebody who kind of actively practices conveyancing.
Yes, 100%.
And doesn't kind of, not a more open practice, because like we do it proactively. We will chase up, we give kind of a 2-week grace period where we will leave it lie, and then we follow up, as you know, for weekly with solicitors to try and just make sure that things are moving and there's nothing that's popping up.
Keep communication alive, even if there is nothing to say. At least a person, it's just that dread, I suppose. Where is it? Are we in limbo?
That's it. But there's nothing worse than when we ring up and there's somebody, oh, she's in court today, or he's in court today, or he's at whatever. So, like, if you've got somebody, if you can find a solicitor that kind of primarily focuses on conveyancing, that will make your job and her job a whole lot easier. Please find somebody. So.
No, it's very, very good points and very, very valid points. So it's sit down, have a little price, or not even a price check, but have that little checklist, stuff that and make non-negotiables or negotiable what would be. And yes, a non-negotiable, as Ollie had pointed out, it could be that area. And like, if you're happy with an area, and there is a lot of that, like, it's that I see that people just do not want to live here, don't want to live here. I have friends over in Great who won't go to the Dublin side of Carlow, and vice versa. So it's very, very funny. But I suppose before you sell, I'd and purely because since we've been back the last couple of years, the three of us in the office, we've been very, very proactive in trying to put out fires before they start. So, and this will be more for the standalones, but I have seen it in estates as well with extensions and things. So it bleeds into the seller's legal pack, is just to make sure you have certain things, like if you have a septic tank that it is registered, because that is a legal requirement, and possibly have a little cleaning record. If there's extensions onto the property as well, just to flag them, even with, like, how many times have we had an extension that is clearly under 40 square metres, clearly within, like, there's at least 25 square metres left of garden space, and if it's a pitched roof, it's under 4 metres, but we're still required from a legal point of view, especially with with mortgage approval, not with cash, but they'll always put it in, that need to have that cert of compliance or cert of exemption or whatever it is. So if you have those little tweaks to the house, and in particular what I've seen is that a lot more people in the last couple of years, instead of leaving, are just extending the size, because they don't see those bigger houses out there, extending the size of their houses. So get all those checks.
Though, given what we've seen recently with the price of that. I mean, some of the prices that you've told have been absolutely insane.
For under 40 square metres. Mm-hmm. So that is just to get ahead, because you want to, you just don't want to have these little issues crop up in the last, and inevitably they'll always crop up in week 11, week 10 of a sales process.
It's like, surprise.
Yeah. and even small things that we have, we had a property very, very recently, quite a large crack down the side that we had flagged, but had been assured, and then came back, no, that's a settlement issue. So we had to renegotiate and get that property back up agreed. Thankfully we did. But these are things that when you flag them, just to be very, very wary. So before you sell, making sure that is your property, does it have a septic tank? Are they registered? As any extensions there? Things that we'll need to conversion. Well, the attic conversions, like if they don't have the fire search for them, they are just got to be storage space, guys. I'm sorry to say.
But you would often get people kind of going, "Oh, it's a 5-bed. It's not. It's 4-bed with," and you can't advertise that as an extra bedroom. So don't factor that into your price if you're coming in and it's not certain. So don't be expecting to get an inflated price for that if it's not an actual space that's certified. Whatever.
It will help the price somewhat.
Oh
but
yeah,
not,
it
it's
will.
not
You
going to be the
can't
price of a
advertise it, you
fifth
can't factor
bedroom.
it in. Yeah.
So
But of course, then we have just for your own benefit, anyone who is thinking of selling, we do have a checklist. So, you don't have to worry about that. We will give you a checklist of things that you have because we don't want to encounter them on week 11. So it's not that we're being nice to you, it's we're being nice to us.
don't work hard, work smart. That is my absolutely minimum effort, maximum return.
We are lovely.
Oh God.
Oh God, Keith's godding now because we're going to reach the fun part of this. So the next segment that we're going to go through is the price is right. So this is a bit of fun and some healthy competition for me. Some healthy competition.
The turnaround now.
See, you'd think that being auctioneers and estate agents would be fairly in the loop when it comes to property prices, right? Well, we're all about to we're going to put Keith to the test. Keith, you're up, and I'm going to throw.
No. Before we, is this a local property at least?
It might be.
No.
So the picture got up on the screen there, and here's the catch: you've got to guess the price, and you need to be within €1,000 of the actual figure to get your point. We'll keep score. We're going to keep score.
I believe that's
go.
PINT.
Yes. The person with the most points at the end of the year takes the crown. So let's test your evaluation skills, or we throw you back into the armchair valuers.
Okay, first of all, where is this?
You should know it. Look at the hills. Don't tell me you don't recognise it.
No, I do. Okay, we're out.
It's Madrid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Everything
sure
is
you
so
fell asleep
hazy
over
right
there
now.
on the back of that hill last week.
Are you going to tell me, is it a 4-bed? Is it? I see there's a garage at least.
There's a
fine
garage. Well done.
shed.
It is in Carlo.
Is
it is in Carlo.
Hang on a second. I think I do know this. Yeah, because I think it's a friend's house that I have to possibly do. It's out near Tullow.
It is out near Tullow.
Yeah, that's I obviously can't say the guy's name because I think I'm actually going to be doing this valuation when we get back to the office.
Stop it. But it's up for sale.
Think so. Oh no, well then it's not. I was like, whoops. Okay, so
it's an ex-friend of Keith's who gave it to R.E.A. Dawson. Sorry, guy, you're off the list.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad he wasn't on the stand. Okay, this is a 3-bed?
Could be.
How am I going to...
Listen, you're a valuer. Count the windows.
There's 3 chimney stacks. And there's a shed in behind. How big is the site? Is the site all the... is it all the way... The farm? It
is.
What acreage do we have on the farm? Is it tillage? Is it yeah, Jesus Christ. You're not even going to give me one inflatable. Just one armband. Can I get one armband? 2 armbands?
Yeah, there's nice flowers on the front of it.
Nice flowers.
Garden is very well kept.
Well positioned flowers at the front.
Nice garage there.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say it's probably, from the looks of it, the windows have been changed. The house is probably looks sort of the 60s, 70s style, still the slate roof. I'm going to go 3-bed detached to 3. And and I'm assuming there's decent the sheds at the back. 375.
Oh my God! Yes.
What?
Yeah. Bang on.
Seriously?
Okay, we'll keep you for another week. You know what? Actually, I may ring
well.
Harry now because Harry was asking me that was the test. You were fired and being sent back to Madrid if you got it wrong. Congratulations!
No way. That's well.
You get to buy me a pint now at lunchtime for getting it right. Amazing.
This is my good hand. Jesus Christ. It's what is it? It's a D1, is it, or a D2?
A D1.
D1. Mm-hmm. No, you'd see the well, just the tiles, but I'd say there's probably only 2 operating chimneys here. How big was the site?
I think it's like 5 acres or something.
And that's included in the price?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't include that in the price. So, no, well, look, the shed at the back, it's all... Yeah, it's an older build, but it looks a lovely picture, to be fair. Mm-hmm. Well done, R.E.A. Dawson.
Yeah. And probably Casa, by the looks of it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, our media partners. By the way, shout out to Casa for their incredible photography, always.
Thanks for keeping us alive.
And fed.
Yeah. Are you doing this next week?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I'm honestly gonna put something on Ackett Island. So
I didn't doubt it for a second.
yeah.
Yeah, well done. No, congratulations, especially
Thank
under the circumstances.
Now, what is the actual price?
I'll tell you after.
So, thanks.
Anyway, it's been absolute cracking fun.
has,
I
no,
actually
this-
was not as nervous as I thought it was going to be, given it was our first ever episode. But that's it for episode 1 of Key Decisions. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Well, I did. Keith
It was
got
all about
through
survival
it. He
to me,
survived.
to
It is.
be
His
very
survival
honest,
skills
yeah.
are impeccable. And I hope you picked up maybe a handy few tips along the way. If you know somebody who gets something out of this, give it a share. We'd really like if you gave it a share. We don't want to be talking to ourselves every week, so please do feel free to share and talk about us and shout at us and heckle us if you feel you need to.
Preferably not, seeing as some of our social media content has literally, I was walking around because I'm helping out with the Lions Club and I had a jump scare purely because it was one of the things. So thanks to all
That's
these
what we
little
do
things.
now.
No, it's not what we do. Like
So also feel free to jump scare Keith if you see him on the street.
fear is real.
Maybe not today.
the fear is real. But yeah. No, guys, look, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
We're back next month with another episode. We'll try and keep Keith sober till then. Apparently he's going to be. So keep an eye out. You can find everything you need on our socials. Just search Key Decisions Podcast. And until then,
Fantastic.
mind yourselves and we'll chat to you soon. Thanks a
Talk to you
million.
later, guys. Cheers.
You've been listening to Key Decisions Podcast, brought to you by REA Southern, bringing you home. Find out more at reasouthern.ie.